قال المؤلف رحمه الله في باب تفسير التوحيد وشهادة أن لا إله إلا الله، وقول الله تعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: قل ادعوا الذين زعمتم من دونه فلا يملكون كشف الضر عنكم ولا تحويله، أولئك الذين يدعون يبتغون إلى ربهم الوسيلة أيهم أقرب ويرجون رحمته ويخافون عذابه إن عذاب ربك كان محذورا. وقوله تعالى: وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه وقومه إنني براء مما تعبدون إلا الذي فطرني فإنه سيهدين. وقوله تعالى: اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله والمسيح ابن مريم إلى آخر الآية. وقول الله تعالى: ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أندادا يحبونهم كحب الله والذين آمنوا أشد حبا لله. وفي الصحيح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال: من قال لا إله إلا الله وكفر بما يعبد من دون الله حرم ماله ودمه وحسابه على الله عز وجل. وشرح هذه الترجمة ما بعدها من الأبواب. فيه أكبر المسائل وأهمها، وهي تفسير التوحيد وتفسير الشهادة، وبينها بأمور واضحة. منها آية الإسراء بين فيها الرد على المشركين الذين يدعون الصالحين، ففيها بيان أن هذا هو الشرك الأكبر. ومنها آية براءة بين فيها أن أهل الكتاب اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله، وبين أنهم لم يؤمروا إلا بأن يعبدوا إلها واحدا، مع أن تفسيرها الذي لا إشكال فيه طاعة العلماء والعباد في المعصية لا دعائهم إياهم. ومنها قول الخليل عليه السلام للكفار: إنني براء مما تعبدون إلا الذي فطرني، فاستثنى من المعبودين ربه، وذكر سبحانه أن هذه البراءة وهذه الموالاة هي شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله، فقال: وجعلها كلمة باقية في عقبه لعلهم يرجعون. ومنها آية البقرة في الكفار الذين قال الله فيهم: وما هم بخارجين من النار، ذكر أنهم يحبون أندادهم كحب الله، فدل على أنهم يحبون الله حبا عظيما ولم يدخلهم في الإسلام، فكيف بمن أحب الند حبا أكبر من حب الله؟ فكيف بمن لم يحب إلا الند وحده ولم يحب الله؟ ومنها قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من قال لا إله إلا الله وكفر بما يعبد من دون الله حرم ماله ودمه. وهذا من أعظم ما يبين معنى لا إله إلا الله، فإنه لم يجعل التلفظ بها عاصما للدم والمال، بل ولا معرفة معناها مع لفظها، بل ولا الإقرار بذلك، بل ولا كونه لا يدعو إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، بل لا يحرم ماله ودمه حتى يضيف إلى ذلك الكفر بما يعبد من دون الله، فإن شك أو توقف لم يحرم ماله ودمه. فيا لها من مسألة ما أجلها، ويا لها من بيان ما أوضحه، وحجة ما أقطعها للمنازع. Okay, so now we're going to translate it to English. Okay, so this is the chapter of Tawheed and, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and shahadat an la ilaha, saying the Islamic declaration, la ilaha illallah, believing it, uttering it, and committing, working upon its actions. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, so go and invoke those who you claim other besides Allah. They do not indeed they do not own anything, and they are not able to remove the harm, and not able to do anything. They are those who invoke trying to reach a way or access a way to their Lord, who is more nearer to him, and they hope for Allah's mercy, and they fear Allah's punishment. Indeed, the punishment of Allah is very, very, very alarming, very, very bad. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when Ibrahim said to his father and his people, I am innocent of what you worship other than Allah, except for Allah, except for the one who created me, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who guides me, to the end of the verse. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they took their monks and scholars as lords besides Allah, and also the Masih, the Messiah, son of Mary. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and from among the people are those who take other than and among the people are those who take besides Allah as partners. They love them as they love Allah. And those who believe are more loving of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, love Allah more. And in As-Sahih, the Prophet Muhammad says, whoever says La ilaha illallah, whoever says there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, believing in it, doing its actions and uttering it, and he disbelieves in that which is worshipped besides Allah, his his wealth, his blood is sacred. It becomes haram to shed it, and and his Allah will be the one who will judge him in the hereafter. And this all of these evidences shows very among the greatest greatest things that we should keep in mind. It is tafsir al-Tawheed. It is to explain the Tawheed and explaining what Shahada is, the Islamic declaration is of there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. And it's clear, all of these are clear to understand. These words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very clear to understand. The Prophet Muhammad's words are very clear to understand regarding this matter of Islamic declaration and what is Tawheed. It is from among it is the ayah of Surah Al-Isra, and Allah showed in it that it is to refute those pagans, like the grave worshippers and the people, the idol worshippers of Quraysh, those who invoke the pious people other besides Allah. So it shows the clear that this is the major shirk. This is a major shirk. It's clearly shown that the one who invokes other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from among the pious people is committing a major shirk. Major shirk is disbelief, is kufr. The person is not Muslim anymore, he's an apostate. And the second one is the ayah in Surah Bara and Surah Tawbah, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows clearly in it that the people of the book took their monks and scholars as lords besides Allah. And Allah showed that the people of the book, were not ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their own books that they must worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were ordered in their books, if you see, it says Allah ordered them to worship Him alone, one and only, without any partners. Although it's tafsir, although the explanation of this ayah, there's no contradiction in it, because what it means is that they obeyed the scholars, because their scholars made halal what Allah made haram, and their scholars made haram what Allah made halal. So they obeyed them in these matters, and so this is how they took their scholars and monks as lords besides Allah. So they obeyed their scholars, and they obeyed the slaves, the servants, with regarding the things that are disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it should be the opposite. The person must disobey the creation if the creation orders him to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So and also and it's not permissible to invoke them, these pious people, pious men, because they used to invoke, the Jews and Christians, the people of the book used to invoke their pious men that died. And it is also from the words of Al-Khalil alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he said to the disbelievers, indeed I am innocent of what you worship besides Allah, except for Allah, the one who created me. So he added the word Rabbahu, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered in that أن هذه البراءة, that this innocence of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and innocence of every believer, which every Muslim should have, and this loyalty, which means he was innocent from what they invoked. He was innocent, Ibrahim was innocent of his pagan polytheist people and their idols, but he was loyal. He had loyalty, muwalat, he had wala, to La ilaha illallah, to the Islamic declaration of there is no God worthy of worship except Allah alone, who has no partners. And Allah says in the Quran, وَجَعَلَهَا كَلِمَةً بَاقِيَةً فِي عَقِبِهِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. And Ibrahim kept this word La ilaha illallah throughout his descendants. It stayed, all his descendants were upon the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that they may return, so that the polytheists may return to the truth, or that those who take an example of them will return to the truth as well. And it is also from ayat Surah Al-Baqarah, the verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, which speaks about the disbelievers, that they will never, وَمَا هُمْ بِخَارِجِينَ مِنَ النَّارِ, they will never exit hellfire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah in this verse that the disbelievers they equally love their idols as they love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they love Allah, they love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same way as they love their idols. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed that indeed they do not love Him. Rather, the ones who love Allah more, and those who, and even though they loved their idols as they loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still didn't make them enter Islam. Regarding of that, they still love their idols. So how is it when a person loves an idol like these grave worshippers more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So if this is the case for the mushriks, Allah didn't make them enter Islam, He didn't make the polytheists enter Islam, even although the mushriks loved Allah equally as they loved their idols. But you see today people like grave worshippers, they love their idols and the dead persons more than they love Allah. So even though Allah didn't make the polytheists enter Islam because they equally loved Allah as they loved their gods, how would it be that a person who loves someone more than Allah today, like grave worshippers, who love the dead more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them if that's the case, if they love their idols more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or their dead persons more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So and also how is it the same way? How is it that when a person loves only the partner and doesn't love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though he worships both the partner Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he doesn't love Allah, he only loves the idol that he's worshipping, or the person that he's calling through, that person is calling through dua. And so what means here is that sorry, I misplaced. Let me repeat this again. So as for the second one, فَكَيْفَ بِمَنْ لَمْ يُحِبْ إِلَّا النِّدَّ وَحْدَهُ. So how is it for a person that never worships Allah, doesn't even worship Allah, only worships idols, associates others with Allah, and he loves only that idol, and he hates Allah? Like we see today, many people who don't even worship Allah, some polytheists don't worship Allah, they're not the same as the Qurayshis. So how is it to this person? He is more far away from guidance than all these who were to come, who we previously mentioned. And from among the words of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he says, whoever says there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the Islamic declaration, and disbelieves in that which is worshipped besides Allah, his wealth and his blood is safe and sacred. And this is from the most great meanings, because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed in his words in this hadith that the Islamic declaration, La ilaha illallah, there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the Prophet did not make the saying only of it to make a person's wealth and blood become protected, and he neither made the one who uttered it and he didn't make the one who believed in it, who said La ilaha illallah and believed in it, that and knew what it meant. He didn't make that one, his wealth and blood also become safe. He didn't make that. That's not the reason, and it's not the one who acts upon it and knows certainty that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah. Since the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, by connecting the word La ilaha illallah, Islamic declaration, if the person has to believe in it and has to act upon it and has to utter it as well, certainly knowing that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, understanding it, but he also, connected it with something, that the one who is worshipped or invoked besides Allah must disbelieve in the one, he must disbelieve in those who he invokes and worships besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order for his shahada to be pure and clean and truthful and sincere as well. So here we see there is no doubt that this person who believes that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and disbelieves in anything that is invoked or worshipped besides Allah, this is the person who his wealth and blood is protected. And this is a very, very clear understanding of the way, enjoy combining all those together. Um, and it's a very, very clear words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, clear understanding, clear words of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, showing that the meaning of La ilaha illallah is that one should disbelieve in invoking other than Allah and worshipping or seeking partners besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is impermissible in Islam, and it is kufr, it is disbelief, and it is a clear hujjah, it is clear evidence against those who try to argue that it is permissible to invoke other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worship other than Him. It is a clear it's a clear clear evidence that a person must never invoke other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or worship other than Him, and whoever does so is committing major shirk, which is kufr. We'll continue inshallah later on with the next chapter.